For those of you who are not familiar with me, my name is Eileen Collier. I am a former radio personality and program director. I programmed two highly successful radio stations here in the city of Memphis, and I was a consultant for many stations over the U.S. Now I am a full-time entrepreneur. I am a speaker, teacher, coach, trainer. And oh, you're so nice. I teach people on and train people on business practices, leadership skills, and I also train a team on how they can make money online and by leveraging a third party. I'm telling you, life is good. It is good. You never know where you're going to end up, but you just enjoy the ride. So as my tenure was in radio, I was a program director for a couple of different genres of music. Over the time, I was a music director and assistant program director, and I was with different stations. I programmed in hip-hop, in urban oldies, adult contemporary, urban adult contemporary, and in gospel. And during that time, I had to sit down with a lot of different artists that was wanting to get their music played on the air. I was the one that I had to sit face to face or have conversations with them to determine whether they're going to get their music on the air. Now, here's some things that was repeat offenders. And I wanted to just share with you guys, because there's a lot of people that have aspirations of being a recording artist. They want their music on the air. And then sometimes they get mad at the programmers because we don't get a chance to put it on. Don't do that. There's a lot of things that you don't know. There's a lot of things that goes on behind the scenes that you don't know about. And there's a method to the madness all the time. But you have to do your due diligence as an artist to make sure your stuff is on point. And then you have to do what you need to do to make sure that you get some exposure. And there's other ways that you can get exposure other than radio, but we're not going to talk about that today. We can talk about that another day. Got tips for you on that as well. Okay, so first of all, can y'all see me? The light is okay. I have to keep leaning up. Anyway, so make sure that your project is on point. Okay? Make sure that your project is on point. That means you need to test it. Make sure that the quality of it is all right. So here's the thing that I used to tell a lot of the people that came and sat before me because their stuff was not on point. If you put your CD in the player and you hit play, and we're just going to say that you have it already burned to CD, okay? Put it in the CD player, hit play, okay? Then you take it out and you put a major artist CD in. Mary J. Blige, Busta Rhymes, I don't know, Shirley Caesar, anybody, Anita Wilson. Put a major artist in the CD player. Don't change the volume level at all. If your volume is comparable to the major artist, cool. You have to see if it stands up, because let me tell you, when you go to radio, your stuff has to already be radio ready. It has to be able to stand up with the majors. If not, radio does not have time to play with you. They don't have time to try to see if it'll work, because radio is a business. So no longer, gone are the days that we can just break artists because we think that it may sound all right. You got to already have your game up to par, okay? So test the levels. Make sure that this is not a test. What you just said, it is not a test. Make sure that it's done. But what you can do is test it on your own. How do you test it on your own? Let somebody else listen to it other than your friends and family. Because let me tell you, if you let your friends and family listen to it and they know it's you, they are not going to tell you the truth. And we're going to send some people to the block party right now. Ain't got time for that. I told you I don't have time for foolishness today. Told you that early this morning. But listen, so when you let someone listen to your project, do it anonymously. Because nobody really wants to hurt your feelings if it's not good. Because you're going to think it's the best thing ever. The best thing ever. Because this is my song. And you're an artist and you're sensitive. And I know about that. I was an artist at one point as well, and I thought everything that we did was good. Until later when I listened to it, I said, everything wasn't so good. Wasn't as good as I thought. So what you do is let some people listen to it anonymously. Just put it in and say, hey, listen to this. What you think about that? What you think? Don't tell them who it is. Don't tell them that it's yours. Let me tell you, that anonymous thing works. When J-Lo did her first song, the record label sent it out to all of the programmers without her face on it, without her name on it. Because let me tell you, none of us would have played that song had we known that that was Jennifer Lopez singing. She was an actress. She was a fly girl. Didn't I know she could sing? So they sent it out to every station, every programmer, without a name, without a picture. And they said, listen to it. What do you think of that song? And it was either good or bad. The same thing with Wayne Brady. We knew that guy as the comedian. That's the let's make a deal dude. Who's going to take him seriously as a singer? But they sent that CD out to every programmer, every station, without a picture, without a name. And they played it for us. And they said, what did you think about that song? And me, I'm like, who is it? Who is it? No, we're not going to tell you. What did you think about it? Is it, and I'm trying to before I gave my opinion, I'm trying to figure it out. They never would tell me until I said, yeah, that's a cool record. I like it. Will you play? Well, yeah, I will. It's Wayne Brady. What? Because I was able to give an honest opinion without any bias. So that's what you need to do. Play your song. Let people know what it is. Let people listen to it and let the music speak for itself. Because if it's good, people will say it's good. Okay? Now, when you have a good product and you're ready to take it to radio, make sure that it's looking professional. If you burn it to CD, don't you write on that CD. Don't you hand write on a CD and take it into radio to a music director or a program director and think that they're going to take you seriously, because they are not. That CD will be swiftly put in the garbage, put in the side, or they will take the CD out of the sleeve, chunk the CD, and keep the sleeve for something else later. Do not handwrite on a CD and take it to radio. Not cool. Do not handwrite on the label and take it to radio. Don't do it. If you're going to put a picture on it, don't have that picture stretched out because you tried to make it fit in the jewel's case. I cannot tell you how many CDs I got like that. Or selfies that people have put on there and it's half done. Don't do that. Take pride in your product. If you think it's good enough to go to CD, go to radio, make sure everything about it is on point. You want to stand out. You are an independent artist, so you've got to make sure that you make a great impression on that programmer, that they will take notice and really put your music in. Use professionals to do it. But if you're on a budget, there's so many, technology is a wonderful thing. Let me just tell you, there's so many apps out there that you can use. There's so many free programs that you can use out there on. Just find something. There's a website, Canva.com. You can make all kinds of banners and jewel cases and great graphics free of charge. And they make it, whereas somebody who's not that technologically savvy can manipulate it. And if you just cannot do a good graphic, you cannot do a good picture to put on your case, just have an empty case and make sure that the label is printed well. You can get that printed somewhere. It doesn't cost a whole lot. You don't have to get it mass produced or anything. But their website is Canva, CANVA.com. And you can make some great banners for social media and a lot of other stuff. But just Google some stuff out there. There's great websites that you can go to free of charge. Free of charge. All right. So now before you actually go to radio, make a phone call. Find out who it is that you need to talk to. Is it the music director? Is it the assistant program director? Or is it the program director that you need to speak with? You need to know who that person in charge is so that you won't be making calls in vain. Okay, don't just show up. Do not just show up at the radio station, because radio stations have changed the way that they do things so much. And a lot of them have downsized in their personnel. So you need to find out exactly when you need to go and who you need to go and see. And then find out if you need to actually show up. Do they accept CDs, or would they prefer an email? If they prefer an email, this can cut your costs so that you won't have to burn so many CDs. Okay? So if they accept email or CDs, you need to figure that out. If you drop off a CD, find out when you need to follow up. If you're sending an email, follow up. And when I say follow up, it's not just one time, because they probably won't answer the phone. 8 times out of 10 says they won't answer the phone. So you need to keep calling. And when you call, leave a message. Then it stays on the top of mind. They'll remember that this guy keeps calling. This girl keeps calling me. Let me go ahead and listen to this CD and see what's happening. Let me listen to this song. Okay? Follow up many times. Follow up until you actually get something on the air. If they say they like it, see when do they think that they're going to play it. And then you follow up. But in the meantime, make sure that you get some buzz on your music on your own. Get out in the streets. Hustle it. That's what I told all the hip hop folk. For hip hop, you better make sure that you get with all the mix jocks. All of the mix DJs that are doing something. Everybody, all the DJs that are doing parties all around the city, make sure that they get a copy of your song so that they can start working it into their rotation. Okay? Because if it gets a buzz on the streets, then sometimes it can force radio to play it. Because now when they go to the club, they hear your song. Same way with, and then this can be with R&B, and R&B is harder to get on the air than hip hop is, because the R&B playlists are so much smaller. If you're gospel, make sure that you try to get your songs to every church. Get it to a lot of the gospel DJs, because gospel radio kind of works a little bit differently than the other genres, depending upon what city you're in. Depending upon what city you're in. If you are in a major to middle market size, you make sure that you get to the music director, assistant program director, or program director. Don't just give it to the individual jocks, because they do not have any kind of power to get your music played. And that's what a lot of people have been doing. If it is a station that just has gospel on Sundays, you need to find out who it is that you need to talk to. Do you need to get it to that gospel jock that's on Sundays, or do you need to get it to the program director? Different stations work differently, so don't just assume that it's the same across the board. Okay? And then I know as an independent artist, you don't have a whole lot of money. You're working on a budget. I know that. So you want to cut costs any way that you can. So if you don't have to waste a lot of CDs, don't. So you need to do your due diligence and making some phone calls and find out who it is that you need to talk to prior to getting that stuff produced. Okay? All right? Does this help? Is this some good information? Is this helping? I hope it is. All right? So here, make sure that your project is up to par. Test it anonymously and not to just your friends and family, because friends and family love you. Okay. Make sure that the levels are good. Call the stations, find out who it is that you need to talk to. Music director, assistant program director, or the PD, the program director. See if they accept CDs or emails. Which do they prefer? You give them what they prefer and then follow up. Several phone calls, emails, all. All right. Make sure your stuff is professional looking. You can do things on a shoestring budget. It doesn't have to cost a lot. You don't have to produce a whole lot. Because, there's not a lot of record stores now that's selling music, actually. Everything is done digitally. So we'll have to do another scope about how you can make yourself stand out in the digital world. Because just because your music is on CD Baby or on iTunes, you think that it's there and it's done. But there's 50 million songs out there. How do you make yours stand out in the crowd? Now that goes into some internet marketing. I'll share that with you at a later date. Thank you so much for joining in on this scope today. I hope it helped. And just let people know where you can check me out again, because I'll be here probably tomorrow again at 10:30. I haven't decided what we're going to talk about tomorrow. But you can always catch this replay. I'll post it a little bit later on my blog at eileenspeaks.com. That's Eileen, E-I-L-E-E-N, eileenspeaks.com. You guys have a wonderful day. Go out and impact some lives. Impact some lives. God has blessed you. Now you go out and be a blessing to someone else. Have a great day, guys.